introduce you to my partners that will be with me for the next 50 minutes, starting, of course, from my immediate right. Oyin Wuchiwachuku is on the program tonight. Oyin Wuchiwachuku is the editor, Sunday Sun on Sunday. I got it correct this time. Very good to have you on sports tonight.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and of course, Dumnodi Okonta is also on the show. Dumnodi, good to have you on sports tonight this Friday.
Good evening.
Yeah, and there's a lot to talk about on the program. Tomorrow is the big one at the Wembley Stadium. Two German clubs for the first time will be playing to find out who will be the champions, the kings of Europe. Talking about the UEFA Champions League final, Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich. We'll talk about that game later on, but it's one of the things that we're looking forward to this weekend. We will also, of course, talk Nigeria Professional Football League. Week 15 games will be played in the Premier League. We have week 22 games. We're gradually coming to the end of the National League. We will give you a lowdown in our usual style of the matches to be played as well in the National League. We will talk Channels Kids Cup. We will have time for plenty of grassroots on the program today because we will talk Channels National Kids Cup. We're down to the last 4 teams. Well, sadly, Lagos teams have crashed out. No Lagos team left in the race. And that shows that really this is a national competition. So we'll talk about Channels Kids Cup. We will also talk about NASCOM. We had a chairman of NASCOM on our show not too long ago. And he said something about rhythm and play. If you remember, we will talk about rhythm and play on the program today because we've been told by the Sports Ministry, National Sports Commission, that President Goodluck Jonathan himself will be launching Rhythm and Play. We will give you the details as we go along on Sports Tonight. We'll take you to Oyo State, the Governor's Cup. We'll take you to Delta State, the Governor's Cup. And it's good to see that states are beginning to invest heavily on grassroots development of sports, football in particular. We will also talk wrestling on the program tonight. The Edwin Clark, first Edwin Clark National Wrestling Championship that will be taking place in Delta State in a few weeks. We'll talk about it on the program. And of course, politics. We'll talk politics on the program today. A little bit of politics as we go along. So gentlemen, I think we are in for a swell time. Without wasting any more time because we really have a lot of grounds to cover. I think we should start with the more recent one. Let's start with the more recent one. Yesterday, in Abuja, let's start with that. On that note, yesterday in Abuja, the Senate had a public hearing for the Nigeria Football Federation, the new bill, the new law that should govern Nigerian football, and of course the autonomy of the Nigerian Football Federation. The Senate public hearing turned out to be another opportunity for us to underline those critical issues that have been bordering on the autonomy of the Nigerian Football Federation, football administration in Nigeria. How can we move the game forward? Those were the issues that came to the fore at the Senate public hearing. Oye, I know you followed proceedings, and what can you tell us from all that happened in Abuja yesterday?
Well, thank you very much. Of course, you know that it was a draft bill. You know, all of us, you know, everybody in football in Nigeria is aware that there is a decree 101
that has been
ruling football.
That we have not completely gotten rid of.
And even technocrats, you know, successful administrators have said that if we don't get rid of decree 101, we cannot make any headway in football. So the Nigerian Football Association legally, you know, sent a draft bill to the Senate. And, you know, to follow procedure, there must be a public hearing. And that public hearing was held yesterday. But unfortunately, it was vehemently opposed, you know, by the National Sports Commission and some senators. First and foremost, of course, you know that it provides...
What was opposed?
No, the
autonomy of the NFF.
Absolutely.
And the way the new bill is
part of the
package.
Yes, part of the section of that bill. You know, the bill, let us enlighten our viewers, is to provide the NFF, in the NFA, the opportunity to change their name from the NFA to NFF. You know,
and guarantee autonomy.
They did not oppose that. Then the part of the draft that gave sweeping powers to the president of the Nigerian Football Association was opposed because Senator Henneke Lugubiri, a member of a member of that committee. Of course, you know that Adamu Gumba is the chairman of the sports committee on Senate. The Senator Lugubiri said, if they approve as it is, if they approve the bill, then the
NFF president becomes very powerful.
Yes, the president can wake up one day and sack anybody, perhaps for not greeting him. That he could get to that mundane level. Then for the National Sports Commission, the minister specifically said there was no role assigned to the ministry apart from giving out money.
No supervisory role apart from
giving out money.
For the Christmas role.
That NFF just want to collect money from them.
For the Christmas role.
Without, expecting that they should play a supervisory role. That
now those funds are expended.
Yes, that the bill should not be passed as it is constructed.
So some adjustments must be made.
So these are the issues. And, we started before we came on that if you want to be independent, you don't go asking for money. That is the
financial autonomy should precede any kind of autonomy.
Absolutely. If I get money from you, and when it comes to
making accounts, giving accounts,
and I tell you that you don't have, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
You come to meet me cap in hand for money. I give you the money, you now grow wings. You don't want to explain.
It doesn't happen that way.
But these issues have been on for a long time. An example, the Nigerian Football Federation will have a budget of about 8 million, 7 million for a year.
Billion,
I beg your pardon. Billion for a year. They are only able to raise 1.5. The balance of about 6.5 or 7 billion will come from government. And when government also wants to look into the books, for whatever reasons, could be political, could be genuine reasons, you close the book and say this interference.
And quote FIFA law.
And quote FIFA law. I mean, you cannot eat your cake and have it. And our whole situation is even peculiar because we don't even know where the NFF is. Because at some time they are a private company, at some time they are a parastatal of government. And we need to spell that out clearly, carefully, once and for all, to stop crisis that has engulfed our football.
I think the interest in our football are so enormous that I don't know why we have to take too long to try to see if some of these things can be addressed. We are talking of picking one. I've been hearing that, I think, for a long time. When would this come to an end?
It was partially revealed when we had Balaka Oje.
Yeah, partially.
He said we're not going to use it anymore. But somewhere they left it there because
it was not passed into law.
Because it gives the sports ministry powers to do a lot of things.
The interests are so overwhelming that some of these things they just what we call they just gloss over it and we say yes we have done something. At the end of the day, the monster will raise the hydra headed head. But I think the best way to do this for this Senate, they have there's posterity will speak at the end of the day. They should do this one for all and let's just move ahead with our football. The way people are saying, okay, a lot of people are having so many disagreements over whether the law should be repealed, whether you give the sweeping power to the Nigerian Football Federation. Yeah, there's still some other aspect that you say, even if I give you sweeping power, there's still a way they can checkmate some of these powers. They have the board. But I think
absolute power corrupts.
Absolute power, absolutely. But,
corrupts absolutely.
But there are ways we can to manage some of these things. But I think the best way for our football is that the earlier the better. Because it's going on and on. Now, this is the first peg which when will the next one come up?
Anyway, I think the summary for me is what Oyen said at the beginning of the show. If you want autonomy, be able to generate your money.
Absolutely.
Is football big enough to generate 8 billion a year? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
So we need to get the right kind of persons there who can generate that kind of money from the private sector that the people can trust, that the private sector can trust. So when you are now able to generate that kind of money and people can trust you with those kind of funds, then you can begin to correctly and legitimately talk to the lawmakers.
Because the process of getting the right people onto the board is another process. It needs the law.
It will take like 10 episodes of Sports Tonight for us to try that. But let's hope that we can make progress. Let's hope we can make progress. But that was what happened yesterday. Plenty of controversy around all of that. Let's talk about this one. It's still football administration, sports administration now. And this is handball court case. We talked about this on the eve of inauguration.
Last week Friday.
The handball situation, because the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed June 13, 2013 for the mention of the case between National Sports Commission, NSC, and the mega handball veterans over the election into the board of the Handball Federation of Nigeria. We give a background to all of this. The handball veterans, the mega handball veterans are claiming that the National Sports Commission
violated part of the guidelines.
Oversaw elections into the federation and violated several electoral guidelines